Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pickin and Grinnin. We're here with Brad, Leroy, and Brandon, and myself, and we're just going to sit around. We're going to chat. If anybody's got any questions, feel free to ask your questions. And that's pretty much it. What we got on the table today, guys? Anything, or we're just chatting?
We had one question, and then I have a question.
All right. So, all right, let's start it off. So Brad had a question for Brandon last week, and Brandon wasn't able to make it. And I feel like Brandon, you're undercover, and Brad will explain why. And I'm going to pull up a screenshot, and I'll show you. Or the what's the guy's name?
Tim Pierce. So
Who?
yeah, Tim Pierce.
Okay.
Yeah, so my question is, Brandon, are you an undercover guitar player, and do you have a massive channel and go under the name Tim Pierce? Because when I saw your pic and I heard you talk, you look like a guy named Tim Pierce, who's this session musician who's played on probably hundreds of songs that you've heard on the radio. And dadgummit, you kind of sound like him too. Y'all are brothers, I think.
Well, that's the first
There you
I've
go,
heard.
right there.
Yeah, see if you scroll through.
Definitely not me.
Like when you see his videos, in his videos, a lot of times he's wearing a hat. Look at there. There's Brandon. He's teaching everybody how to play the guitar.
There
Look
you
at
are,
that,
Brandon, right there, buddy.
So hey, I just want to say I've been learning from you for years, Brandon. I play the guitar, and you've been teaching me a lot over the years, so I appreciate it, man.
Well, that's funny because the truth is most people say I look like John Malkovich, who is a famous actor. And
yeah.
Which I've actually pulled it up and did a side by side, and people they're not wrong. I see the similarity. That's the first for that one. The truth is, I attempted to learn to play guitar and I could not get the hang of it. However, I have a daughter that just turned 18 and she is very skilled on the bass. So she actually has 3 bass guitars. She was in a band, with some other teenagers for a little bit. Teenagers, you know how that goes. Things didn't work out, but she's very good at the bass. Me, on the other hand, I couldn't teach anybody how to play anything because I tried and I failed. So, but that's a new one. So,
yeah, you'll have to go check it out later. Look it up, and I mean, even your mannerisms and voice even has a similar inflection and everything. It's kind of spooky.
That's a pretty good one. I wasn't expecting that. So,
so is this the other guy here you're talking about here? Let's see, John Malkovich. He's played in.
Yeah, he's in I think Red and Being John Malkovich and
this guy here.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of people say I look like him.
Really? I see more of a similarity with the other guy.
Yeah, it's probably.
But I don't know. I've never seen you without a hat, so I don't know. So
there you go.
Oh, there it is. There,
the
okay.
Glasses and the hat off, you can get the picture.
Yeah.
If John Malkovich until a couple years ago. So
if John Malkovich grew out his beard and goatee and stuff,
I actually don't normally let it get this thick, but my wife was like, "You should grow it out again." At one time, I had it real long.
Yeah,
and it's funny. So I'm only 43. And when my daughter was in elementary school, they had these Valentine's Day daddy-daughter dance things. And there is a progression. Each year, I would go to the daddy-daughter dance with her on Valentine's Day, and we would have our pictures. And it was each year, my beard was getting grayer and grayer and grayer. And then finally, it got just straight full gray. And it's funny looking at those pictures because you see the progression of it. So I blame my kids.
Oh, yeah.
Got one other question for you. Are you the bobbleheads and ball cards guy on District? Is that you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
About a second YouTube channel. I do have a second YouTube channel that is larger than my reseller YouTube channel, but it's not for guitars. It's for sports cards and stuff. So
That's what you say. That's what you say. No, I looked at that Dan Marino lot that you had, and if it wasn't Christmas time, I probably would have pulled the trigger on it, man. It was him.
yeah, I've got thousands upon thousands of cards, and I honestly am heavily considering liquidating and just getting back to just what I want to collect and not have so much inventory. Because last year I sold cards online. I just started reselling this year, but I did cards and stuff before. And I just have so much. And now that I'm doing the reselling, I don't have the time to list as many cards. So I've thought about just liquidating everything that's excess of my collection and getting rid of that just so I can just enjoy my collection pieces and focus more on the reselling side. So I threw those up. I think it averaged out to like, I don't know, 40 cents a card or something like that. I figured if there was a collector out there for the Dolphins, they might like it. So
Yeah. Well, I might still snag it if it's around in January.
go for it, man. So I think I put free shipping on it too. That was kind of baked into the price a bit. So
I want to show you guys something real quick. Last night, Brad, last night when we was in the chat with Eric over on the StreamYard chat, you remember him talking about these right here? Let me pull up the screenshot here. Right here. Remember him talking about these, the golden nuggets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The McDonald's, the adult McDonald's toy.
Yeah.
yep.
Look at the sale. Look at the price that thing's going for. So
Yeah, I
that's the
don't think I've
rare
ever-
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Watch this. Let me get right here. Look at this. This was the day they went to McDonald's today. They got the I'm opening it out of the box. They got the McDonald's toys, the adult toys, and we got the golden nuggets.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
Hey,
And so
bro,
we got three others. There's three other ones, and they're all the exact same. The other three are. See, what's neat is that it comes with a little card. Let's see, it comes with a little card with some stuff on the back. So that's just pretty neat there.
Now,
I thought it was.
can I make a statement of something? We have heard so much about the economy being an excuse for people struggling in the reselling community and, responsible for a lot of other things. I have to argue against that excuse when people are spending $60, $80, $100 on a stupid golden nugget
McDonald's
toy. Like,
Yeah.
and I see things that people buy out there for an excessive amount of money, and I just have to ask myself, is the economy really that bad?
So this one, we got three of these. This is still here. The hair comes off, and it actually even comes out of the thing. So it's actually three different pieces there. And it comes with its card also. It's not as valuable as the golden nugget because here's the thing. The golden nugget, if you look on the back of the box of the set, that this is the set. So you got 2, 4, 6 pieces in the set. The golden nugget's not even in this set. So it's not even part. So it's definitely rare and definitely special because it's not part of the set. It's just something off on its own.
Can I suggest something?
Yeah.
List them now. NOW now. List them now.
Yeah.
Do not wait. I'm not saying, oh yeah, I'm saying really? I would list them like right this second because the price is going to drop and the it's going to get flooded. I would have listed those as soon as I got them.
I wanted to show them to you guys, but I did that. We'll get them listed today or tomorrow, tonight or tomorrow morning.
I'm telling you, you're not listening. List them now, right now. Like, tell your wife to list them. I'm not kidding you.
You had asked last night, Chris, about somebody asked if we were still selling Christmas stuff. And I've sold a couple of Christmas things today. One of them was a big old Grandeur Noel acrylic snowman set. That was a pretty good sale.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that Happy Meal, that adult Happy Meal was $12.
Oh,
So
and I just sold 3 blow molds for A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, that's
good. Yeah, we picked those up retail arbitrage at Lowe's last year.
So you've had a pretty good. So you've had a pretty good couple of days then, since the male portion of Christmas is.
Yeah, seemed like Monday. Seemed like Monday and Tuesday or Tuesday specifically was really slow, and then last couple of days it's kind of rebounded, and it's not as high as it was last week, but it's up there.
If you don't, I'm only selling about 2 or 3 things a day because I'm not listing. If you don't list, you don't sell it. It sucks.
That's right. I agree with that 100%. I didn't list yesterday, and I sure didn't list today. I've been laid up today, man, sick, so I didn't list it all today. So, but I did have one sale yesterday. I have one sale today, so probably tomorrow and over the weekend because I've just been sick. I've been not doing anything. I'm going to suffer this weekend in sales, I'm sure. That's 2 days of non-activity.
I can't believe you already listed that McDonald's thing. That's good. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. She already did it.
Good job.
People will have that Christmas money next week, so they'll be back.
Yeah. And then you got yeah. And then you got when is it? What is it? When does that tax money come in? That's the next big sale
February.
Time,
February starts rolling in.
No, the bootleg is get them. The people who take the hit on it, they'll start getting it about the 15th of January. Because you can get money towards it right now. That's where all the low income people do.
I didn't even
get
know
money
that.
Where?
Yeah.
Say that again, Leroy.
Get a loan. You can go and once you get your tax return. And a lot of places they get it like the first of the year now. But you can show what you made last year, and you can get a loan against what you made last year. All your stuff is the same. It's
that's that thing H&R Block does. Yeah.
It's not good because they take theirs. Trust me.
It's kind of like one of those paycheck loans.
It's like a paycheck loan, yeah. But they do
okay.
For the second.
I got you.
Hey, listen, I've been in that position. I've done paycheck loans.
Yeah. Hey, Brandon, you don't deal with diecast at all, do you?
You mean these things?
Yes, those things.
I have a few, yeah.
I'm trying to get involved in it, okay? And so I'm starting kind of small. I'm looking for the treasure hunts on the Hot Wheels. My issue is I want to get a case, but it's hard to get a case now that actually comes from the factory because everybody's selling cases either on eBay or somewhere else, and they're cherry picking those cases. So like a J case, A case, C case, all those numbers, they got a treasure hunt in them, and some of them, if you get lucky, you get a super treasure hunt also. So I'm trying to figure out where I can get an actual factory sealed case that has not been tampered with.
You could probably try like Mattel, their website or something. But to be honest with you, in that closet back there, I have a bunch of die casts that are more modern.
Right.
Because for a period, I was going out and buying any Mopar diecast because I had a Dodge Charger. And so I would just go out and any Mopar that was out on the shelves, I would buy them and I was collecting them. But the treasure hunts are the reason they're so hard to find is because when the people are stocking the store shelves now, they know them. And so they're not really hitting the shelves. And that just
there's a Dollar General right down the road. And we went in the other day and was looking through them. And I asked the lady if she had any cases out back that I can put up for her, that way I can go through the cases. And she says she already has a guy that comes in, does not work there, but he comes in and puts out all the stock on the Hot Wheels for them, just so he can cherry pick the cars. So they've already got people doing it, so that's why I was just trying to figure out if I could get one. And so then I come across M2 cars. And then so you got chase cars. Well, apparently this year, the M2 quit putting the stickers on the cars, the chase cars. So now you got to actually be able to identify the cars, which is very difficult. To me it is, because I'm just getting into it. So I don't know what to actually look for.
Yeah.
See, I watch some videos on YouTube and they say, oh, if it's got 750 on the top of the car, that's a chase. Well, that's not true. I have learned that if I have 750 on the top of the car, that of so many thousand pieces is 750. That just means there's a chase in that car. All right. So what you got right there?
Yeah, I mean, I have boxes and boxes like these. This is the whole Hot Wheels Mopar set that I have in this box. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I looked at selling that stuff because I stopped buying them to collect, and even these special sets, they're not really worth that much. So this here, these red lines and the old Lesney matchboxes and stuff like that, those are the ones I would recommend going after. Because your modern stuff, it's like a needle in a haystack. You're going to be able to go out and find more red lines than you would chase cars, just because of the fact people are, sniping them as they stock the shelf and throwing them on eBay. So go out to estate sales, yard sales, things like that, and hunt for, some old Matchbox Lesneys or red lines and that sort of thing. There's plenty of stuff out there that's got value that you'd be able to find. So that would be, heck, I forgot these were even sitting here. Okay.
So what do you look for in a Matchbox?
Well, most of them that you want are going to be the old Lesneys. They're from like the early, I don't know if it's early or late 60s, but they'll say like made in England. They'll say like Lesney on them. They're actually numbered, so your earlier numbers. This is actually one right here. So I don't know if it'll pick it up on the camera or not, but you can see it says made in England.
Right.
Yeah, that's a Lesney Matchbox. It's a little car. It's got a little dog in the back, and this is.
So that's what you look for, is a made in England.
Yeah, the old Lesney. It says made in England by Lesney. That's the early original Matchboxes. I gotta see what the number is on this one. I think if I remember right, this one's probably about a $15 to $20 car. It's Matchbox number 64. Let me see if I can find one here. Well, that didn't pull it up how I wanted.
Oh, Eric's live right now.
Why isn't it pulling that one up?
On District.
MG 1100.
He got selling, or is he doing one of those onboardings?
Yeah, it looks like he's selling. He's with that Didbit.
Oh,
Didbit?
Yeah, gotcha.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh no, he's not live. I'm sorry. It's CVA Thrifts just live right now. He was live earlier. He was on. He was on way earlier, actually.
CVA, I know that. Which one? Which one's CVA?
That's the one. That's Dave's friend, Brandon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I hadn't
Okay, so
refreshed
this
my
one's
screen. That's why.
this is about $8 or $10, and
Oh
really you
yeah,
just
yeah.
want to look at the condition. And older the better, obviously.
Now you
Hot
picked
Wheels, you
those
want the
up
red
at
line.
estate sales.
Yeah, estate sales, garage sales, all that kind of stuff. If I find them and I can pick them up cheap, then I'll grab them and then I bring them home and look at them later. Because normally, if you can tell how old they are and if they're in good shape, you're likely going to find something decent in it that you can make good money on. So,
Right.
but
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so that's what my new adventure was going to be. But then, I get these wild hairs every once in a while. Well, I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try this, and then I'm going to try this. And me and my wife was talking about the other day something, when we first got into this, we made really good money, and we was able to do very well. And it was because of the items we picked up. And over time, I have steered away from those items. And we was talking about we just need to go back to what we was doing before, and I think that's what I'm going to start doing because we was just doing really, really well before with certain things.
were you selling Beanie Babies?
Yes.
Dang it! I let the secret out.
Actually, no, we was selling remotes. We was doing breaking down kitchen appliances and selling parts for kitchen appliances.
It's very well, and it's all free stuff. You can get on the side of the road.
Yeah, yeah, and the TV remotes, VCR remotes, and we bought. Let me tell you, we bought a lot that was 250 remotes, if I recall correctly. It's been a couple of years ago. We bought it for $20. All the remotes for $20. We was in a thrift store, and a lady had she had 3 big bins there full of them. And I just asked her, I says, what do you want for all these remotes? And she said, just to get them out of here, I'll take $20 for all of them. I said, sold. And that's the same place that I bought 300 CDs for $25 too. But so them remotes, I went through, I tested every single one of them. Those of you that are watching, all you got to do is take your phone, turn your camera around, put a battery in that remote, and shine and click the remote, and the light will come on through your camera. You'll be able to see the light on the remote, and that tells you if it worked. Make sure you hit each individual button because some buttons stick, so the remote won't work. So I had remotes without backs. I had remotes that did not work. I sold the ones that were tested and working individually. The ones that were tested and working without backs, I sold them individually. The ones that were not working, I sold them for parts and repair in a big lot. And I've probably made, I think we figured out we probably made about $500 or more on those remotes. I sold remotes. I had ceiling fan remotes that were selling for $20 and $30. It was crazy. And I say, $400 and $500 don't sound like a whole lot, but really when you do remotes, you do free shipping all day long, 10, $15 free shipping for a remote. So you're cutting into your price on your remote because of your shipping. So you got to cut some of that down. A lot of people don't understand that. They see on eBay that there's somebody selling a remote for 12 or $15, but they don't take into account you got fees and shipping you got to put in that, so really you might, depending on where the remote's going and how big, how heavy it is, what size the remote is, you might profit maybe if you got $1 in it, because you can usually pick them up between 25 cents to $1. So you might profit $5 or $6 if you sell it for 10 to $15. So that's what we did with the remotes. And then the CDs, we sold the CDs separately, and actually I sold all the CDs on Whatnot. I auctioned them off on Whatnot, which was pretty good. We had some good ones in there, but just parts and repair. Like the one thing that I actually loved selling was the glass jars that go on blenders. When they're glass, not the plastic ones, but the glass ones for the old blenders. People would buy them like crazy, and it's because it's glass. I mean, it's So you sell stuff like that, and then just anything else, any other kind of kitchen appliance that I can sell parts for. If it wasn't working, I break it down into parts, And even if it did work, I probably broke it down into parts still. And we made good money doing that. You can make money on remotes and kitchen stuff. Shut the front door. Scott. Yeah, that's news. Nobody didn't know that, Scott. So yeah, I mean, it's just things like that. You can. And so we did good with that, and we got away from that, and so I think that's part of the problem there. So we're going to start going back to that. I'm going to stop getting into, oh well, let's try this over here, let's try that over there. It's one of those things that you've got to figure out in reselling. You got to figure out what works for you. And you can't watch other resellers and be like, oh, well, I can do that. Not necessarily true. You got to figure out what you can do for you. What fits your business model, what fits you. The Scott ships 6 remotes a day, so remotes do sell. You make money off of them.
Well, it's like,
so that's. Go ahead,
I
Brent.
hear a lot of people, and Leroy, because you do you talk to Cernak and do the RIN and all that. Tim and Eric, and they all pretty much do it. But I hear people all the time say that they can't sell hats. That hats don't sell for them. They can't sell hats. They don't, And I'm just like, I'm looking at my metrics now. Again, this is my first year in doing it, and I'm looking at my sales. And if you exclude sports cards, as far as my reselling stuff, hats are my number one selling category. And I look at it and I'm like, how are so many people saying they can't sell hats? But yet it's actually my number one category.
Well, I have a question for you, Brendan. What kind of hats are you selling?
Anything. I'll tell you some of the quickest selling hats that I have. This would probably surprise you. Waffle House. Waffle hats. Waffle House hats. Chick-fil-A. Wawa, uniform hats of regular employee stores out there. Those even sell. It doesn't have to be.
You know why? Do you know why?
Well, for one, it's a fad, but for two, if the employee loses it, they have to spend a lot of money out of their paycheck.
Yes,
they'll swipe it up on. But Waffle House is a fad too. It's one of those things. But yeah, I mean, it's all kinds. Some of the craziest stuff, it sells really good. But then you see so many people out there that say they can't sell them, and I don't know if it's because it's not the big sale. If they don't like selling them because they're 10, 12, 15, 20 bucks a pop, and they need that $50 to $100 sale. I don't know if that's it. But for me, it's like unlimited sourcing. Like literally, I can go to the bins and I can come away with 20 plus hats every trip I make there. I'm paying, I estimate probably about 30 cents a hat. And even if I get $8, $10, $12, you're turning 30 cents into 8, 10, 12. And even if I don't sell them all, I'm still profiting, so I love selling them.
It's all what you want to do, and what you can get in your area. I did want to say, what's up, Scott? How you doing, buddy? But the thing is, for me, it's like people say, tools. Tools are heavy. Tools are heavy. What are you talking
They're
about?
easy to ship.
What are you talking about? I don't ship anything bigger than a poly bag. Because I do hand tools. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, little screwdrivers, ratchets. I mean, that's what I do. But in like you and I've had this conversation, people talk about it. This is stuff that's still usable. It's crazy because you were talking about that, and I've heard you talk before. When you go in certain categories, some of these, like that McDonald's category, for instance, that Chris is going to be into, you're going to look at that list, and there's going to be 45 of those things. And, you're going to have to start at the bottom because you can put it at the top, but you're not going to get it. And for me, My biggest competition is maybe Craftsman, or Snap-on. Everything else, when I list, I'm lucky if there's 15 items in there, and 6 of them on exactly what I have. So I got 6 items in all of my listings, and then sold. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, most times when you price that item, you're not gonna have somebody message you, "Hey, would you take 50% of what you priced it at?" Or even if you put best offer, they're not gonna negotiate much with you because they need that piece and they're gonna pay it because they know it's worth it.
Yep. And that was one of the things Chris said. He was selling the parts really well. You're not out there like everything else. T-shirts and all that stuff. No offense to T-shirts, baseball cards. I'm not saying baseball cards, but even baseball cards. There's millions of them. Like sometimes you have to go into that category that's not flooded. It's a lower dollar. It's a lower dollar item, but it's going to sell quicker.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember that SK Tools little socket set that I showed you a few weeks back that I picked up for $1?
I believe so, yeah.
It was missing one socket out of it.
Yeah.
I still listed it with the tray and the set minus the one socket, and wound up getting $60 for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And bought it for $1. So
oh, any SK, that was a 1/4-inch drive set. Any SK 1/4-inch drive set stuff, that stuff is so highly collectible. If I see it, I jump all over it because that stuff sells like hotcakes.
I sold a SK adapter yesterday, 1/2-inch to 3/8 adapter.
What happened? Leroy, you're on mute, buddy. Leroy, you're muted.
Okay. I don't know where I was, but when you get it, I want to show you guys something. When you get a ratchet and it has this thumb there, they call like a thumbnail or hand tightening on the top of it. They don't all come with this, so they made this adapter where you can put it on a regular. You can put it on. Sometimes you need that to just turn it to, like you're in a car and you need to get it to turn a little bit to get the socket on. Well, they sell these adapters, and this one's a Williams, so it's a good one. They sell these adapters to go on a regular ratchet, and these go for about $20. But if you see them in Snap-on, SK, any of that stuff, Williams, they're worth their money because not everybody has them. So, like you said, Brendan, it's like that little stuff. It sometimes you got to figure it, and we all got to figure out like our categories and how to do better in our categories. And it's not something that's going to happen overnight. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm still trying to figure it out.
So I know Brad, he's got a specialty too. Brad's specialty is, let's see if I can play mobile or play mobile.
Play mobile.
First one.
Play mobile.
My wife and I both say play mobile, but I think it's actually play mobile.
You got one available?
Man, I got thousands available.
And arm's reach.
I have a full big bag of accessories of that stuff that I don't even know how to go about selling it because there's so many pieces in that bag.
Well, there's your guy right there, Brandon. Brad knows all about that stuff.
Yes, sir. We'll buy it from you.
It's a bag of accessories. It's just a mixed bag of accessories.
Is it Playmobil? If it's Playmobil, that's worth it.
It's all, it's a full big plastic bag just filled with nothing but accessories. The little tiny pieces, like little hair brushes and desks and chairs and all this little stuff in there. I don't know how many pieces is even in the bag, but
I've never even heard of that until Brad brought it up in district.
Yeah.
They're talking about it in district, looking for some, and I was like, "What is that?"
Maybe
So
we
that's
can work a
crazy.
deal out. We'll buy it from you if you're not interested in working with it.
yeah, I'll send you a picture or something and show you what it is, because I don't even know how many pieces is in there. It's a bunch of little accessories and stuff. So
Yeah.
Payne just sold a Christmas throw yesterday. I think she's a little behind because she was talking about also the message before about listing that McDonald's item I found. I think she's a little behind, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh
Ping,
man,
Ping G. I sell a lot of Christmas
yeah.
stuff year round too. So think about, my wife and I was talking about this the other day, that because there was some stuff that sold, and she says that's from that $10 a lot of Christmas stuff that we bought. But we find, seems like when you find a deal on Christmas stuff, a lot of times it's people just getting rid of everything, and they'll make a big deal. The very first year we went on, the 127, there was a lady at our very first stop that had like a couple of tables of Christmas stuff and some Christmas blow molds. And I bought the nativity set, the full nativity set blow mold set from her for for $40. She actually she takes stuff to like and sets up in people's yards. She's like a flea market person. But I bought that whole nativity set for 40, and then she said, "Well, if you're into, buying and flipping Christmas stuff, I'll sell you that whole, those tables and everything under them for $100." So we
Golly.
loaded up, and we were on our very first stop. We were packed to the gills, man. And then here not long ago in the summer, we stopped by this yard sale, and they were kind of selling off their mom's estate. And it was like it's like a similar kind of deal. It looked like there were 20 totes in this yard. I don't know how many there were, just of Christmas stuff. They had a lot of other stuff too. And she's like, we'll give you the whole thing. I think it was like $10 or $20 for everything. And of course, we had sold a
Wow.
bunch of Christmas stuff, so we are like, yeah, we'll do that. And we're still selling stuff out of that.
So what do you guys do a day after Christmas? That whole week after Christmas, do you hit the day after Christmas? Do you hit the regular stores, or do you wait throughout that week and then go to thrift stores when people are or donating stuff that they don't need because they got new stuff for Christmas?
We've done good hitting thrift stores after Christmas. Of course, we do probably 90% of what we do is toys, and people are getting rid of their kids' old toys and stuff. So we've done really well after Christmas, around the first of the new year, doing that. But I don't know. We might just sit around and cry this year.
I list. I think this is the most important time to list is right now, because everybody, 90% of the United States, their most days that they have off is Christmas break. Every other time they can only take Christmas break. There's 2 or 3 days that most jobs have to give you. So those people aren't working. Like, I get excited talking about this all the time, but if you guys aren't listening from now until the 15th, you're dumb. Like, this is the time that you have to list.
Commonwealth Picker Kevin, he been giving away and selling he's giving away eBay cards for Christmas gifts.
Yeah,
I
you
know
know
a couple
why?
other resellers, so so they can buy in their store.
No, you know why?
So they can buy on eBay.
No, I started that, and he gives me credit. If you ask him, say Leroy said thank you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know you did that, Leroy. Thank you.
I started that because I just got on that rant just now. I did this about 2 or 3 months ago. I told they said, how should we prepare? How should you prepare? Tell all your friends and family to buy eBay cards. Why don't you tell them, or why don't you buy cards for people to invest in a company that you work out of? So we all work out of eBay. eBay is if all of us resellers got together and all bought 15 gift cards for the people that we have to buy gifts for. Imagine how much of an uptick that would be. Does it mean that we're going to get it? No, but it's going to put money into eBay. Why not?
Yeah,
I'm going.
I see that.
On mute. I'm going on mute because I'm gonna go.
Let it go, Leroy.
So I missed part of the conversation before because our internet just dropped. But it was about the selling hats, and I was just going to chime in and say yes, hats sell, and especially it's like anything else. If you're listing heavy in a category, you're going to sell a lot more out of that category. And so, I have several totes of hats I can put up here, and probably that's what I'm going to be doing during my Christmas vacations, listing hats.
Yeah,
see, that's what I was wondering. I asked about the hats, what kind, because I was always wondered, was the uptake on the sports hats, or was it the vintage trucker hats, or just your everyday hats like uniform hats, stuff like that? That's what my question was with that.
Yes.
Yeah, just any of them. like
Yes.
So hats it's an interesting category because they're literally, you can find them everywhere, and it's like everything else. If you're sourcing it at the right place, you can make profit on it. But the key with hats is you can usually get them 9 times out of 10. If you go to a yard sale and people have hats out and you say how much on your hats, they're going to say $1 or less, sometimes less. Even at estate sales, you go to an estate sale, normally your ball caps are going to be $1 to $2. If you have a Goodwill bins, you go to the Goodwill bins, I estimate about, I don't know, 5 hats per pound, probably, depending on what it's made out of. Wool hat's going to weigh a little bit more, whatever. But you're going to be into them at roughly 30 cents a piece at the bins. They're also, usually, most cases, you can clean them up. So as long as they aren't thrashed too terrible, if they got a little sweat sand or whatever, you can clean them. They're pretty simple to clean.
OxyClean works wonders.
Well, I just use that power wash, that Dawn power wash stuff, and a toothbrush on the sweatband. It works pretty great. That was a little tip from Cernock. He showed us in his spare bathroom one day how to clean that sweatband up. But they're real simple to store. You make a template to list them. You can blow through listings. They're easy as cake to take pictures of for your listings. And then you get those long cardboard boxes and you can store 40 or 50 of them to a box. And so you can store them easy. When you ship them out, throw them in a poly bag in an 864 or whatever, if you want to go a little bit bigger on your box, you ain't worrying about it getting broken. So they're one of the simplest things. And you literally, Leroy loves talking about cost per item, your average cost per item. And on a hat, if you're over $1 cost per item, I would be shocked. You better have some really top of the line hats. So just say an average $1 per item. And even if you're selling them at $10, you're 10xing your money. It just seems like a logical thing to me. I mean,
Brandon, I used to buy hats at Goodwill. This has been a couple of years ago. I was buying all my hats at Goodwill, and I was spending anywhere between 50 cents to $1 a hat. Do you know now at Goodwill you can't, unless you go to the bins at Goodwill anywhere around here, you can't get a hat under $3. You just can't, and that makes no sense to me at all.
Well, I still remember what roped me into reselling was going to Goodwill on January 3rd, 2023. I spent $10 on 3 items, and I sold those 3 items for $110. And I said, okay, there's something to this.
Right.
And I started sourcing from Goodwill. I would stop by each day, go in, buy a couple things, come home, list it, sell it, whatever. I will be honest with you. I very rarely, hardly ever step foot into my Goodwill anymore. And that's been for the last 6 to 8 months because the prices kept going up.
It's been a while.
The quality of items kept going down. I realized that I
It's
do have a Benz. Now I can't go there every day because it's like about 40-minute drive for me, but it's in a town that I go to often. So if I'm making a trip to the town, I swing by the Benz, I go in, I can be in there for 30 minutes and come away with a full IKEA bag of stuff that I spent $20 on and probably have $200-$300 worth of items, maybe more. But I don't go to Goodwill anymore. It's just it. I thought about it one day and I was like, if I only went in there 10 minutes a day on average, over the course of a week, I'm wasting an hour of my time. And I can put that hour worth of effort into doing something else. So it's not even worth my time anymore. So
right. Yeah, we haven't been in the Goodwill in a while either for sourcing. And then we got a couple of thrift stores around here that you just can't source there. Not cheap. I mean, when you buy an item, you better make sure it's worth 3 times them, because the items are getting up there in prices that's just, to me, it's ridiculous. I mean, it really is. And so it's hard around here. It's hard to source anymore. So because of the prices. So it's got to, and it's a winter time now, so we're gonna redo what we've been doing, and we're in the first of the year. I'm actually going to go back to the old way. Be honest with you, of what we were selling is what I'm gonna do. I don't know where I'm gonna find it because everywhere is sky high now. Only place I can do is just start hammering yard sales in the springtime, the estate sales, or go with Leroy to the auction house or the auction place. Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah.
spoil
Leroy's got
something.
he's
Leroy gave, I don't remember where he talked about it. You talked about it recently. I was actually heading to an estate sale and I was listening to, I don't remember if you were doing a podcast with somebody or where you were talking about it, but you discussed one of your favorite places to source. And it was online estate sales. And he talked about how he even described how most of them work and everything else. He's not wrong. There is some honey hole online estate sales out there, and especially if they're local pickup and they don't ship, because that is condensing the audience because people have to travel to pick the items up and everything. So many times there's some deals to be had on those online estate sales. Now, you got to keep your eyes open for them. You got to find, the places in your area or anything else. But Leroy spilled that. I can't remember where he was discussing it at, but I listened to it.
Can I switch? Can I correct that a little bit?
Go ahead.
Okay. So it is, I find the auctions online. Actually, Chris has been with me. So there's a website called auctionzip.com. I've been using it for 20 years. I've said it about 100 times and nobody listens. But anyway, there's an auction site called
I better write that down because he ain't gonna tell you again.
auctionzip.com. And what I do is I look for on-site estate auctions, not estate sales. So Brad, Brandon, I actually go to the estate sale, bid live. I bid live. It's not online bidding.
Do they not have the online estate sales or the estate auctions?
They have mine, but the ones I do, I don't bid online. It's in person. It's in person bidding and buying.
So you go to the live auction ones.
I go to live auctions. I don't do.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, man,
I've had real good success with the online auction ones too.
You can, you can.
Yeah.
You can look up that auctionzip.com because they have them on there too.
Brandon, do you use high bid for yours?
I have been on there and browsed around, but I actually have there, and the reason I said research your local area.
Yeah.
There is an estate company that they no longer do estate sales, like where you go to the house on Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. They do it all online now, and it's all auction. And then you go to the house and physically pick up. That way people aren't in the house and everything else. And so it's a local company, but it's an auction. It's kind of like what Leroy does, except you're not there on the physical premises. You're bidding on it online and then go pick the items up. So that's where I normally do them. The only thing I will preface, if you do that, make sure you research and see what the buyer's premium and all that stuff is, because you have to take that into account. But
oh yeah,
I have made, like, sometimes if you browse through some of the auctions, you can just pick up on things. I'll give an example. Something I don't sell a ton of is shoes, but there was 4 different lots of shoes at one of these online estate auctions, and I noticed it wasn't getting any attention, and the pictures were terrible.
That's good.
And yeah, exactly. It benefited me because I was looking through the pictures and I noticed that there was some Solomon hiking boots. And in each of the lots, I noticed a pair of these Solomon hiking boots. And I was like, those are 60, 80, $100 boots all day long for that brand. And so I started bidding on each of the lots because I knew then that I had at least one pair of shoes that was worth money. And I ended up winning them all. And I think I got all of it for like, I think it was $28. Like, it was stupid low, even with the buyer's premium on all of the lots. I go to pick them up. It turned out to be 6 pair of Solomon boots. There was a pair of shoes they didn't even photograph, which I'm sure if y'all, do shoes at all, you'll know it as soon as I say it. But there was a pair of On Clouds.
Yeah.
The On Clouds sold immediately and paid, like, I was in the profit right there. The Solomons, I have 1 pair left, and all of them have went for 80 to $100. They were all in immaculate condition. There was some like Nike slides, like just all kinds. And it was all because I recognized 1 pair and I knew right then, what to bid at to be safe on. Anything else was bonus. And like Leroy doing tools, if you can spot something of a tool that all right, that's $60. Well, then okay, I can bid up to $60 and I can sell that one item. I got my money back, and then everything else is profit. So, and I'm sure he does that when he buys a lot.
Yeah, here's the only thing I've learned. If you're bidding that high, make sure you know the gallery, meaning the place that's selling it. It's supposed to be what you see in the pictures. I do box lots. So when I'm looking at a picture in the box lot, I want to see 5 or 6 things that I'm going to make my money besides that one item that I'm banking on, because you don't know how many times I've been to these auctions and that one item is gone and it says right in the listing, as is. And the other thing I'm going to say is, when you do buy some of that stuff online, if they say you have a time slot and your time slot is 10 o'clock, but they start letting the doors open at 9, you get there at 8:30 and you ask for forgiveness. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it. I thought it was first come, first serve, because you don't want nobody else's hands in your stuff. Sometimes they will take it and they'll bring it to you. But when you buy like me and you buy 25 lots at a time, they're not doing it. They're not. They look and see, and they put a check mark on your thing and they say, okay, you come in and you get all your own items. We're not bringing 25. A little old lady will bring out your little glass bowl. Well, she's not bringing out a tool chest. So go early and make sure that you're the first one. You're one of the first hands in that, because if the auction house ain't stealing it out of your box, Bill's gonna steal it out of your box.
Yeah, he's right too. It's chaotic when they start, like when they open up to allow pickups. I experienced that one day. So what do you sell, Brad, outside of the Playmobil stuff?
Yeah, we're kind of everything sellers, but we probably specialize mostly in toys, 90% toys. And my wife, that's because my wife does a ton of it, and we're just big kids anyway. But
New
personally,
or both?
depends on what we find.
Okay.
Yeah. But
well, I heard something about Leroy's going to start going to pink sales, and there's normally a little bit of toys there too. So y'all might be able to team up. He might be able to just go get all the clothing, and you can get all the toys.
Yeah.
And you can just go clear out yard sales. I mean, that sounds like a tag team deal right there.
Sounds
Hey, Brad, I keep saying Brad and Brandon. I get you guys confused. Brandon, was I wrong? I was wrong.
Was you wrong that if you had to switch and go to one category?
They said if you had to go in a category a category that you don't want to go in, but you had to go in it, which category would it be?
Oh no, you weren't wrong at all, because you're 100% right. And I have tried to change my philosophy, because believe it or not, I have stopped at those yard sales before. And what he's talking about is when it's the ones you pull up and you look and you're like, there's nothing, you keep going.
Everything's pink.
Yep. But I have stopped and actually walked up to them before and found stuff that was really good. And most times it's because it's still there because nobody had walked up there and looked at it.
I went to a sale, and this was in the beginning of my reselling. And this is why I said this, and I didn't say it on the show. I went to a sale, and it was all pink stuff. Okay, my daughter was just being born, so it was about 15 years ago. Bianca was just being born, so I was looking for clothes for her at that time. This lady had a bag, and it was like a decent size, those bigger Walmart bags, full of baby clothes. It was all brand new, Oshkosh Magosh, and I made a killing. I was selling those outfits. I had about 30 outfits, and I was selling for $20 to $30 a piece on eBay and loving it.
That's a heck of a wake up alarm, Leroy.
No, that's the warning. It will come on you guys.
Are they dropping the bomb there, Leroy? Or is that an Amber Alert?
That's an Amber Alert.
Okay.
It's an Amber Alert, ain't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get one?
Get it.
That's what I call those yard sales. It's an Amber Alert. If I see a car seat or a baby swing, it's like, oh, I've never found anything good at one of those sales.
I'm telling you.
I found a baseball bat for 50 cents and sold it for well over $300 sent to California on the auction. It was one of my first big sales. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just remember watching Josh Harry Tornado pick up a aluminum baseball bat and selling it for a god awful amount of money. And then I saw one laying in the yard at a yard sale. And I says, "Oh, if Josh can do it, I can do it." I was so naive back then. She's just stupid. I didn't realize, So I picked it up, paid 50 cents for it, and ended up selling well over $300. and went to California. Sure did.
I think I've had a little bit, like, again, it's been an awesome year, and I'm pretty happy of what I've been able to accomplish and where I'm at. And, I hope I can expand on this year and next year. But I think I had an advantage to doing YouTube in the card space for a few years before jumping into the reseller YouTube space. And, I have friends and I know a bunch of people who are YouTubers over in the card space, and it's the same thing over there. The two sides actually are very similar. It's just one is a collectible space and the other is, selling miscellaneous goods. So, but the two categories or subjects kind of work the same way. You go out, try to find a deal, sell it for more money or whatever. So having that bit of, experience with how it all works, when I came over here, it's not that anybody is like, when you're watching people in the what solds or the picking videos or what have you, I learned very quickly, just take it with a grain of salt and just use it to get names in your little logbook, get document prices. Oh, well, that silly thing sells for $60. Okay, if I see it out and about, I know to pick it up and what price range. Don't think that, well, Harry Tornado sold this bat for $300. I'm going to go pick up any aluminum baseball bat and make $300 on it. You have to just use it for what it's presented as. And it's just like Kevin, and Harry, he's the same way. But Kevin admits he's got a larger audience. He's able to have a larger reach. His store hits a larger reach. He can sell items or whatnot for a higher value because of that audience, that social media, following he has and everything. And you have to understand, just starting out in this, you don't have that advantage. So you have to limit and rope in your expectations of what you're capable of doing. And that's why I said, like, I've been very proud of what I've been able to do this year. And I will say I got tricked a little bit. I had to rope in my expectations because we were talking about tax time in March. So in January and February, I didn't really have inventory. I didn't have a ton of listings in my store. And so my January and February sucked. Like, I had, I think, 7,000 in sales combined, gross. And then in March, I had my first month where I broke 10,000 in sales. And I was like, okay, well, I've got inventory now. I'm ramping my store up. If I can do, and I think it was 11,000 something that month. I was like, if I can do this already, what the heck am I going to be at in a few months? I'm like, holy cow, I'm going to expand this. Well, I got leveled out real quick. That's been my highest month of the year. Now, I have broke 10,000 a couple other times, but I've not exceeded that month of March. And it was like, but I just started. Why haven't I been able to grow it? So I learned that real quick. And I think that was actually good to learn that lesson, because then I knew what to expect from it. It wasn't.
Now, is that when you switched over to an everything seller instead of just cards, or was you selling just cards then?
So I started January 3rd, like I said, the day I went to Goodwill, picked up some items, sold, listed them, sold them. I listed a few things around the house, to try to build up my inventory or whatever. But January 3rd is the day that I started officially going out hunting and sourcing miscellaneous goods or whatever to resell. But like I said, January and February, it took me time to build that inventory, to grow my listing base and all of that. March, I had obviously a pretty decent amount of listings. I wasn't into the thousands or anything, probably a couple hundred listings. And more of the missile. In fact, March, I had a bunch from that estate sale, toys, Brad talking toys. I went to an estate sale and found a whole bin of vintage Star Wars that were like $1 a piece.
Golly.
A bunch of Corgi die-cast cars and stuff, that do pretty well. So a bunch of vintage toys. So that stuff sold pretty good. I also had bought a bunch of Lionel train stuff in February, and that stuff sells pretty good. So it's no surprise that March was a really strong month for me, but it's kind of what like kicked me in the butt and put it all into motion. But I did have this thinking that, okay, well, I hit this already. It's gonna continue to grow, because that's what you thrive to do. You want to always grow. But I had to get that knocked back down to reality that no, it doesn't work like that. And, I realized what my expectations should be. So, but now that I've had this 12-month experience, I know what to push for and continue it on in 2024. So,
what would you do different, Brandon, than what you did to start with?
I made a couple stupid buys that I wish I didn't. and I wouldn't source. This is a catch-22 when I say this. I wouldn't oversource, but then I do understand that you need inventory because there's going to be times and weekends that it might be raining or you're going to go out and not find anything. But if you oversource, it has been the number one thing that I know triggers me getting overwhelmed and losing motivation. So I would learn to manage my sourcing. There was a couple stupid buys that I made that I wouldn't have done.
Brad, if you had it to do all over again, now you've been doing this for years. So what would you do different knowing what you know now if you knew it then? When you start, what would you have done differently?
I probably would have tried to find a category niche down a little more, because the reason I say that is because we just kind of happened into a Playmobil a lot, and once we started, we had to get all that stuff listed. This happened a couple different times. It happened one time with a big Lego lot we found. Then it happened again with this Playmobil lot that we found back on the 127. And so we were forced to list a ton of the same thing. And it just took off way more than all of our other categories. Because, part of it's because you're listing a lot more of it and it's fresh. So there's that. But then there was some guy that I had listened to, and you can take these things people say with a grain of salt because most of them don't know. But what he said actually made a ton of sense. He was talking about people who think that eBay's out to get them and they're suppressing their sales and blah 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 blah. There's all those folks, and there might be, who knows what the truth of that is, but just the thought of it is that eBay is a company and they want to make money. And so whenever if they put eyes on your item and that item sells, then they're more likely, if there's an algorithm that's working behind the scenes, and there is, it's more likely to send you buyers for that same kind of item back to your store. And so it's held through from the summer, or late summer when we picked all that stuff up, and we've, just continued to buy big, huge lots of Playmobil and list it. It's like, it's selling way better than everything else. And I understand it's because we're listing it, but I also think there's that truth at work also where eBay's like, the algorithm, whatever it be, I don't care if it's little magic fairies in the back room at eBay, but they're saying this is selling for this guy. This guy is selling this stuff. So people who are looking for this stuff, we need to send them to this guy. And so I think that's probably like a guy like Leroy, why he sells a ton of tools. And I don't know if he's got like specific kinds of tools that he looks for, but and in the meantime, we've sold lots of the other stuff that we have as well. But I think that's one thing I would do. I would try to, you don't have the luxury of doing it when you're first getting started. You just have to sell what you can source. But I think the sooner you can kind of get into a category, one, you learn that category a lot faster, and the ins and outs of it's a lot quicker. And then I just think the algorithm pumps it too. So yeah, I think that's what I would do.
Yeah, the same question for you, Leroy. What would you do different?
Never start.
I don't want to. I had this on another show, so I don't want to say the same answers. Honestly, I don't know what I would do different. What I would do different then. Now I would do, there's things I would like to try to do different, and we'll probably have another show about what we're going to do different and what we're going to do better, or our goals for 2024. But all being said, like, I wish I could do better. Listening. All right, here we go. Listening to other people saying how much you're really going to make when that's not what you're going to make. You are you. And sometimes you have to step outside of your. I researched for months and probably a year before I moved to South Carolina to make sure I could find tools here. They don't really tell people this because it makes me look like a fool. I actually flew down here and went yard selling. My brother works for JetBlue. My cousin lives in Charlotte. She let me use her car. I went down here and I went thrifting and went to all the flea markets I can go to on a Saturday, and I went thrifting down here and didn't even bring anything back. I left it at our house. But all that being said, I did that just to make sure that what I am in the niche of is I'm able to find it in the area that I want to move. So, and sometimes if you have to move, I see a lot of resellers moving. If you have to move, that doesn't mean you can't move there. Sell what is easy, what you can get in your area. If there's not a Goodwill, but there's a church or there's schools, or sell clothes for a little while until you can get into and find the openings to get the stuff that you want. If there was a baseball team in that area, then you might want to sell stuff for that baseball team that you can go to Goodwill for 10 cents and sell it outside of the state. Just because Carolina Panther stuff is being burnt down here doesn't mean that there's not some clown buying vintage Carolina Panther stuff in Providence, Rhode Island.
Hey, don't give them such a hard time. They did beat the Falcons this past weekend.
You got the Steelers above me and the Dolphins to, my other side. So, hell, people will buy
the Falcons
anything.
Right here.
Yeah.
People will buy anything.
I'm a Falcons guy.
Well, what do you do if, like, the main thing that people buy in your area is meth, like here?
You sell crack. I don't even know, how do you use meth? You smoke it, right?
I think so.
I don't even know. You sell lighters. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they smoke it. Yeah.
So you need to sell lighters.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I would have done different. I'll tell you what I would have done different. And I didn't know nothing. I wish I would have knew what sell-through rate meant when I first started. I do. Because I was buying anything. Look, I was watching videos. I was watching what sold in flea market videos. And if they was picking it up and if you was selling it, I was buying it. Scott said roll time. Yeah, y'all got a good game coming up here shortly. But if they was selling it or picking it up and I saw it, I was picking it up and thinking I could sell it, but I didn't know what they knew, and I was picking up anything, man. I would pick up something that I would think is the same thing that they picked up, but there's something different about it. And that's the reason they got the price they got for it. While mine's set for 6 months to a year in the store, So at one point I had close to 6,000 items in my store spread across. When I started, I had three eBay stores. I had a Macquarie, I had a Poshmark. I started up Whatnot account. Sometime after I started eBay in 2019, and I think I learned about Whatnot through Harry Tornado, Josh. And so when I found out about that, I applied and got approved. And so then I just started selling. Man, I was going to thrift stores, and there was one particular thrift store that they would throw away every single VHS they got. And I told them, I says, when you get VHS, don't throw them away. I'll come get them. And I was getting a donation for them VHS. And I was taking those home and I was selling them on Whatnot. But I didn't know about VHS. I didn't know what sold and what didn't. I was just trying to get rid of any VHS I had, And so the next thing you know, here I am. I got a house full of stuff, that's not selling. I got a building that's full of stuff that's not selling because I didn't know enough about it. And then I started learning about sell-through rates. So I started buying better items. And that's when I learned, okay, so I got to start getting rid of the old stuff. So if I had to do all over again, I wouldn't just buy everything. I would learn more about the sell-through rate on items is what I would learn more about.
Yeah. I think, one of the things that you have to avoid too is seller envy. Like I know like Brandon looks like he probably sells lots of ball cards and stuff like that. And you see something doing well for somebody and you're tempted to like jump on board that. And sometimes it's like, you
Yeah.
stay in your lane. Yeah.
But Brandon, I don't think he sells a whole. What do you sell? Random stuff, right, Brandon?
So there, cards is an interesting. It's an interesting thing, and it's actually in. It's kind of surprised me that some of the resellers, like I've always joked since I got in here, and in fact, when I went to the 127 meetup, Leroy was down there. Um, Chris and Caleb had me up first to talk to everybody, and I kind of introduced myself, and it's been a joke, but I've introduced myself as the ass backwards American arbitrage. And I actually reached out to Carrie one day, and I was like, I'm just curious, why with you having so much success and reselling and stuff like that, are you doing the sports card thing? And he said, well, because I can find them everywhere. And then I kind of figured out what it is. It's kind of unlimited content for him, and he does enjoy the cards. But it's he can go to a card shop and film tons and tons of shorts and everything else going through the dollar boxes. So it makes sense. But when you really get down to it, it is a very tedious, boring, and it's not all that profitable. Unless you're dealing with the higher end stuff. But then it goes back to something that Kevin was talking about. And it's funny Kevin did this video because I was talking to a buddy about 5 weeks ago regarding the topic of people sharing their 90-day totals and all of this other stuff, and how it's kind of misleading because it's the gross number, and it's all perception. It's just a number there, and it doesn't tell the full story. And being in cards, it's 100% relatable because I could show a $50,000 90-day total, and I might have sold 50 cards that were $1,000 a card. All right, they gave me my 50 grand. But what people don't realize is I might have had to spend $900 per card. Now, I made $100 profit per card, and it shows that I have a $50,000 90-day total, but I didn't make but $5 grand. So it's all perception. It's all about what the person is selling, what they're sourcing at, what their shipping is. Are they selling stuff that's $25 shipping an item? I mean, that adds up. So I was glad he talked about it a little bit, because that 90-day doesn't mean crap except for what you are doing. And it doesn't mean a hill of beans to anybody else. And it's the same way with cards. The margins in cards are so small. When you're selling a card for $100, unless you pulled it out of a pack, which likely came from a box that cost you $150, you're not getting that card for $1 and selling it for $100. The dealers, there's so much information. There's so many pricing tools out there. People, you talk about prices at Goodwill, you go to a card show, 9 times out of 10, like most dealers are going to be priced above eBay comps. So we laugh at Goodwill prices when we're trying to source the flip stuff. Go to a card show and try to buy cards out of a dealer's case and make profit on it. It ain't going to happen. So everybody is in cards. And if they're selling cards, they're in it to make money. And the people buying from you are always trying to get that steal. That, believe me, I have cards listed, and it cracks me up, because I can tell when the message comes from someone that's in the card space versus someone that's like trying to buy a button-up t-shirt or something. It's like, this person's going to offer me 30% of my listed price. This person's going to ask if I can go $5 cheaper. It's like two totally different spectrums. And so I don't list a ton of cards anymore. I do here and there. I really need to get on Whatnot. I have been approved for several years, and I have not sold the first item on there. I have not
Holy
bought
cow!
the first item on there, and I have been approved for several years.
Wow.
But I, like I said, I want to liquidate everything, and it would take me forever. There's no way. Like, if I could take that camera off and go around this wall right here, y'all would probably crap your pants if you've seen how many boxes of cards are on the other side of that wall. There's like a big open area on the other side of that
Wow.
wall. I have racks like Leroy has filled with boxes of cards. So that closet back there has tons. Y'all can see the ones on the floor back behind me. Like, I have tons of them, but I can't sit here and list them all. I don't have the printer or the scanner and stuff like Carrie has to be able to pump out, thousands of card listings at a time. Plus, I don't want to sit and ship them all, one individual at a time. So I think I'm going to do some lots, and like kind of like the Dan Marino lot I put on District, and maybe just blow them out on Whatnot, because sitting
Have
here
you watched
earning
any of those
nothing.
card shows or whatnot?
I am very Yes, I'm very seasoned on Whatnot and the backyard breaks and the breaking. I personally know a breaker, one of the bigger breakers in sports cards. I am obviously a grading submitter for SGC. I'm also an authorized dealer for CGC. Um, so yeah, I know a lot of people in the hobby, but I just I have more fun selling the hats and the toys and the tools and the shoes and all that stuff, and it's way more money. Like, the margins are nowhere even close. I know Kerry does it for the content and because he actually enjoys cards and he has fun and all of that, but the margins just they're tiny. So
Yeah, all
don't
that
be
seems
envious of sports card sellers.
that all seems like torture to me. When you started listing the alphabet there a minute ago, I was like, I don't even know what he's talking about.
It's the grading companies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I put
So,
that. I kind of contexted it, but I haven't met fool with cards since I was in probably eighth grade. That's when I got out of cards.
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Lloyd or Leroy.
This is off the topic. I just wanted real quick, since you gave me the platform. I don't know if Scott's still here. I met Scott on the in Cincinnati. I've known Scott and I've followed Scott for years. Scott's been around for a long time. I'm an OG when it comes to knowing Scott and watching Scott. Scott, I don't know if you're still here, but I put my big boy pants on this year, and I started off with the little guy. Okay, don't give me no crap. I started off with the little guy. I don't have the big guy like you, and he knows what I'm talking about. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're still here, Scott, I just wanted to show you. LOL. You got to start somewhere.
Is that a 3-inch tape roller?
It's the little ones. Yeah, it's the little. It's those tape. The tape. It's the paper tape.
Yeah, I actually want one of them tape guns, them tape
when it
desk
comes
tape
to
things.
Yeah, when it comes to reseller envy, that's the kind of stuff that I have right there. I watched Scott I don't know, it's probably been a couple years ago now, but I think he had just gotten the tape machine or whatever.
Yeah,
He might have even gotten it from Amazon or something. And I'm like, this is heaven right here. What he's doing, push the button, it spits it out, it's ready to
3
go.
inches, 9 inches. He had the color coded. Yep, that's so funny.
And then I went and looked them up, and I saw it was like $350.
Oh, they're like $800.
And I was like, I'll find one somewhere. Somebody will have one for sale eventually.
I'm gonna give y'all a little secret information that many people I haven't shared on the reseller side of things, but I am a self-proclaimed cheap ass. And my wife can vouch for it 100%. So reselling fits me perfectly. But I've done the card grading submissions for, I think we're approaching 4.5 years now. Our very first submission was 1,320 cards, and there was probably, if I had to guess, 30 to 40 people, different people in the order. And she kept telling me, why don't you buy a thermal printer? Why don't you buy a thermal printer? And I'm like, I'm not spending the money on that stupid printer. I have a perfectly good printer right here. I can print the labels, whatever. So I did that for probably 2 to 3 years, printing the labels, cutting them out, didn't tape them to the package. I actually bought the little sticky
I got
little
him.
pocket envelope thing that you slide the label in, you peel the thing off. Like, I was thinking that I was saving so much money because I was too cheap to spend the money on the printer. Well, she finally
That's my
talked me
goal
into
for
ordering.
2024. That's my goal for 2024 is have a thermal.
Just buy one. Like, don't even worry about it, because I'm going to tell you now, the money I have saved on ink alone, let alone the time of clipping the paper, the stupid sticky envelope things. I looked back on it and I was like, I am such a freaking idiot. It took me forever to buy one, but
yeah, I'll tell you how to get one of those thermal printers, Chris.
How? Go to Amazon and buy one?
Nope. Log off. Go on your eBay. Log those 3 stupid chicken McNuggets together. List it for $125. Go on Amazon and you'll sell them tonight if you list them all together. Go on, listen for
that one the one that I got 3 of are not as valuable as the golden nugget. That golden nugget we got, I mean, it's, if I had 3 or 4 of them, nuggets? Yeah, then I could probably buy a thermal with it.
Yeah. How many golden nuggets do you have?
I just got the one golden nugget.
Oh, I thought you had 3 of those.
Well, here's a pro tip.
No, I got 3 of the other kind.
Here's a pro tip. If you buy it now, you can count it off this year's taxes.
Yes.
All I'm going to say...
Brad, you had one that I was seriously looking at, and it's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I keep telling Tammy, man, I want a thermal. I want a thermal. And she's like, well, we don't need it. We got this. Look, this is what we got right here. Okay, this is what we got. We got this big boy right here.
Yeah.
And
dude, it's so worth it. It's so worth it, dude. It's so
every month we pay $10 every month, and we just got ink coming in every month. We pay $10, and so we don't have to worry about going out and buying ink. And then I print labels on these pieces of paper that split, so it's got the long label there. So, but there's like places like Poshmark, I can't print a label on. District, I have to cut the label out. I can't do it that way.
It's time to move up to the next weight class, Chris.
Hey,
yeah.
Quick question for you 2 guys on the bottom of me. Hey, are you guys folders or are you guys a roll? Are you small rolls or are you big rolls?
I am.
Okay. Well, I'll let him answer.
I got 3 boxes of them right here.
So I hate the folding ones. I can't do them. They mess up.
Well, I have the tray. I have the little docking tray. Yeah, and I have it all sitting right here on one of the little 3-drawer, like chest of drawers. I have my big printer and the other one, and it sits right there, and it never messes up on me. It's never messed up on me.
I do have a question about those. So your labels, like, all right, so District, they print them out, and you have to, for me, I have to cut it out. Will it print out on a thermal?
It should, 4x6.
On District?
Yeah.
You just have to change the settings or something?
Yeah.
It's $20 for, what is this, 500 labels.
What do you got, Brad?
All right, so I started out with one of these things that I bought from Lowe's, or I might already had it around. I think I already had it around. And I created a
love it.
And I would do the 1,000 label rolls.
Yeah.
And then recently I was wanting to find a different cheaper label. I was using some anyway, be that as it may, but I found some for it's like 3,000 labels for I think like $34 or something. And so I actually ordered like a smaller amount of them to see if they stuck good and if they printed good, and I didn't have any issues with them. So I ordered the 3,000, and they are the stack. I don't know. Can you see them there?
Yeah.
So I ordered the stack, and it is the fan fold ones, but I hadn't had any trouble with them at all.
So I started with the little. So I have a zebra. I have an old dinosaur. I love my zebra. I have a zebra. It's a bigger machine, but I started off with the small rolls, 250. You can fit inside the machine, and then I moved up, and I have the big boy. I made a little stand for it, like you, and she feeds in the back, and I got my zebra there. Oh, there she is. And I love it. I mean, God, I probably had the zebra for about 5-6 years now.
Yeah, the only reason I switched to that is because I couldn't literally put a 3,000 label roll on the thing back there.
Yeah. No,
so how long, Leroy? How long does that 3,000 label last you?
Mine's not 3,000. Mine's actually only 1,000.
Okay.
But the fan ones, I had the fan ones before this. You know, you guys got to realize I work on tools and stuff. There's a lot of dust, and my landlord has a lot of dust too. And it never messed up my laser or my scanner, but it was always dusty at times. It would jam. It could have just been the style of labels I was using, but I like the rolls, so I stick with the rolls.
Yeah, you got to get you a thermal label printer, Chris. It'll change your world. That, and I bought one of those air pack machines where I could make my own air pack bubbles, and those two things are maybe two of the best purchases I've ever made.
You have one of those? I have a home. You ever see mine, Brad?
I haven't. No.
Oh! I have to give you. Oh, hold on. I gotta give you a little demonstration. So I got a bootleg one. You're gonna love this one.
I might. We'll see what you got. I got a little bootleg one too.
I got a little bootleg. You're gonna love this one. So what I got is I bought this machine when I bought a buyout. This guy, he used to do machinist stuff, and he was packing it, and it actually is. It's a backwards vacuum, is what it is. But it actually is. It's called air fill. It's an older one, probably like 15, 20 years old when they first started out. It's on this little wand, and it's just a little button right here, and it blows air. So I went and I bought this from China, and I got this roll sitting up here. I'll give you guys a demonstration. I got this roll sitting up here. Oh, hold on 1 second. All right. So I got this roll here. You can see it. I believe you can see it. Yep. And then I got these. It's a little bit more of a process, but I just take a piece of tape. I put it over it. Boop. I just blow a little air in it so I can open up the channel here. And this little guy slips right in there. Oh, goodness. See, I'm under pressure. You guys got me under pressure. But this little guy, he slips right in here. And I push the button. Done. And I love it.
Bubble wrap.
Yep. And I love it. And I've been trying to talk Tim into it, but I know I can see Brad's on the move right now. He's showing me his.
Yeah. Well, mine's got to warm up. I was gonna warm it up.
But you see that though? Isn't that cool? I had it listed on eBay twice and nobody bought it. And then I said, let me try buying these stupid things and see if I can find one that will work, because they won't all work. So it has a channel, and because it has the channel, it's individual. Sometimes I just gotta push it just so it'll go in like I did. But I can get longer ones, but this was my first sample of the kind I got. So I'll get longer ones next time. But I've been using this roll for a minute and I love it.
Very cool.
Back in the day, I would buy these like cheap Ziploc bags and fill them up, and then seal them with the little heat sealer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When I needed to pack like some void fill.
I don't use a lot of bubble wrap.
You don't?
At all.
I don't. Well, you can't bubble wrap baseball cards. I mean, come on now.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't ship that many of them. No, I use mostly the craft paper rolls. Like I'll buy the craft paper rolls and just use that. And the ones I buy are, let's see here. I don't remember how many feet. I think I buy like 3 rolls at a time, and they're like 900 feet or something like that, or 900 yards or something.
Do you have the thing that rip them?
The thing that makes it like wrinkly and everything? No.
No, where you can cut it, where you can just rip it.
Oh, I rip it by hand.
You just rip it off the roll?
Yeah, I just rip it right off the roll.
Oh, let me show you something. You want to see that? Let me show you something. We're doing show and tell,
just
guys.
Use American Bubble Boy.
So this is mine, right? So I get it hanging up here. It's hanging up. That's my. Listen, if you guys don't know about corrugated cardboard, you guys are missing the boat. I get corrugated cardboard.
Can't see it, Leroy. Hold on a second.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the
what
same stuff I use.
Okay, there we go.
I use corrugated cardboard rolls, and I love them. But this is my other paper, and I just rip it off from there. But here's the secret about this. This here comes from this shelf here, which is all my wrapping paper, I got commercial wrapping paper rolls. See those giant rolls? I sell them all the time. And when I run out of one over there, one gets confiscated. I have a Mother's Day one coming up. Mother's Day, it's all wrapping paper. So I bought it. I bought the paper at a sale because I was going to use it just like it's hanging up there. Well, I started looking it up and really don't go look up. Go on your computer and look up department store wrapping paper, vintage department store wrapping paper. Your head will spin. I got 38 rolls of it at one time. I was selling them for $160 at a pop. That's why they're sitting over there on the shelf.
How big is that place you're working out of, Leroy? It looks like the garage in my hall.
He's got a whole warehouse over there, bro.
Don't know if mine's warmed up yet. Let me go look and see.
Hey, Brad, he hadn't even showed you the upstairs part.
Actually, that's something else that when you asked me what I would do different starting out. So I'm blessed to have
I heard the beep.
A pretty good sized house, but it also sucks at the same time having your business. Like, if I could do it differently, and unfortunately where I'm at, I can't have an outside building or anything like that, but I would definitely say I'm only going to allocate this amount of space inside the basement or in the garage or whatever, and it has to stick to that. Because one thing I do find is if you do it and you run it all inside of your home, at times I feel like I never detach from work.
Yeah, I get it.
And that is one part that sucks, because it's like, if I'm sitting there and I see something, I'm like, I feel guilty if I'm sitting down like resting or something, because it's like, I need to get up and do something, you know? So I do wish that was one thing I could do different, is have a way to detach myself from work. So
yeah, it gets a little suffocating for sure. But anyway, you ready?
I was sit. Yeah, go ahead. Wait, put them on big. Put them on big. Hold on, we're gonna put you on big. Put them on big. Look at that.
Wait a minute.
Put that. Push of a button, Leroy.
Oh, you don't have to push the
Yeah.
one. Yeah, but
There you
his
go.
So you just push a button and it rolls out like that?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you
They're
got to
about
roll. I can't
yeah.
really see because of the way the camera's mounted, but yeah, it's that it's been great, and I do use. Hold on just a second. I do use paper for void filling and things, especially the things that are heavier. Like if I send a big book or something, I use that. But I wound up using that little bubble stuff there 99% of the time because it just doesn't add any weight at all. It keeps things
But
underweight quite a bit.
Brad, here's the problem. You had to talk sweet to it. You had to give it a back massage just to warm the stupid thing up. I could have made 19 pallets of bubble by the time you had to talk sweet
I'm
to
telling you,
it.
Leroy, you had that bubble, you had that little wrap in your hand. You're like, I'm gonna put this little stem in here, and I'm gonna blow you up. And then
He had to
what
blow
I
it
do,
first.
what I do is
Yeah, you had to blow it first.
I walk in the morning, and about twice a week I turn it on, do my work, and when I hear it beep, I take my big box over there, push the button, and I just let it fill that box
Yeah,
up,
but
and I'm good to go for days.
But you had to go over there. You had to push the button. You had to wait for it to warm up. Me, it was like the doctors. I just stick them up. I'll keep this PG. I just put it in the slot and just I'm done.
Yeah, Leroy's like, I'm gonna fill you up with air now.
You're gonna feel a little pinch. You're gonna feel a little pinch and then a lot of air.
I'm gonna put tape on this
I'm gonna
other
tell you,
side.
I had a friend of mine from church. They messaged us, and they had styrofoam that they was just gonna throw away, and of course I'm always getting packing supplies. I was like, yeah, just hang on to it. I'll come get it. And they're like, bring your truck, and I'm like, what? Bring my truck for styrofoam? I get there, I filled the bed of my truck up with these big pieces of styrofoam, and I've got them stacked up. They're probably about this whole stack's probably about 6 feet high of styrofoam, and they're real big. They're big as a desktop. So I just cut them and use them when I especially do my electronics and stuff like that. And but yeah, you can get free packing stuff, but you guys got money in that stuff, man. I mean, look, Eric sends me peanuts for free. Eric sent me. I got something from Eric from District. I got something from Eric on District, and I got a box that's like 3 foot tall. It's a 12 by 12 by 3 foot, and the sucker's full of peanuts.
I'm going to reiterate again, okay? And anybody out there, if you're watching, listening, Chris, whatever, I am a self-admitted cheap ass, okay?
Yep. Me too.
I buy boxes. I buy my packing paper. I will buy bubble wrap. I bought a thermal printer. I spend the money on my shipping supplies, and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't like making that $300-$400 order when I'm ordering my boxes and all that stuff, but the amount of time and the less headache, the less searching for a box to fit something, the ease it makes of listing an item and knowing what I can charge for the shipping, it all pays for itself back 1,000 times over. So does it suck spending that money on those supplies? 100%. But my customers are happy when they get their items in a fresh box that is packed nicely. And I am getting my orders packed and shipped out a lot easier than I was when I was trying to reuse boxes and all that other stuff. And believe me, I don't like spending the money, but at the end of it, I realized, give me that order, ship me the boxes, because it is so much better.
That's what we was talking about last week, Brandon. We was talking about do you refund for shipping that goes over, say the buyer pays $10 in shipping and it only costs $7 or something to ship it. Do you refund for that, you know, and we was talking about, well, no, because you got to pay for all that shipping supplies, you know, you got to pay for that. I mean, it's not free. So that helps. That helps
I know
with that.
everybody does everything different. And this is another thing that people don't talk a ton about. But shipping differs for everybody because some people do calculated, some people pass the savings on to the buyer, some people don't. And then some people, and I know Kevin talked about this on his channel, and I've actually done this pretty much from the beginning because I'll be honest with you, when I was making my listings, I didn't want to pack it up in a box, put it on the scales, put it in my listing, what the size box was, how much it weighed, and all this to do calculated. So what I was doing was learning as I went in the beginning of approximately, and the other thing I do is I'll go in therapy and I'll get an idea of what the average price is that people charge for their shipping. So like on my hats, I do all my hats at $5.50. If it's a smaller item that I know doesn't weigh much and it'll go in an 864, it's normally, you know, $5 to $5.99 or whatever. If it's something like
Do you use? I heard you say something earlier about putting hats in poly bags. Do you ever put a hat in a box at all?
Yes, I put it in a bag so it doesn't get wet if it rains or whatever, but then I put it in a box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I misunderstood then.
Same
But
here. Yeah.
So when you guys talk about crediting back or whatever, you know how they give you those little 5-star metrics for communication, shipping time, shipping cost, item description, and all that stuff? All of mine are 5 stars except for one, and it is shipping cost. It is, I have a 4.9. Okay. The way I see it, not everybody out there is going to be happy, and somebody at some point is going to say, oh, he charged me too much for shipping, whatever. You're not going to please everybody. So it is what it is.
You're absolutely right.
But if that's the only one and it's at a 4.9, then I am satisfied with that. If you, the other thing that people have to factor in when I'm charging my shipping, and you guys, like, I know Chris and Leroy are down in South Carolina, so y'all are on the East Coast as well. I'm not sure where Brad's from. I'm assuming Miami area, but
Tennessee, man, Tennessee.
Okay, so you're a little bit off the coast. The thing people
he's a little bit off. You said it right the first time, Brendan.
We're at a disadvantage because we have to cater our shipping rates to the East Coast, but we also have to make it to where we're not getting kicked in the balls if somebody in California buys it. So, you know, the coastal sellers have it difficult. If you're in the Midwest, you are at a great advantage because you're splitting the country either direction of which way you're shipping. So, you know, when I charge something, I account for trying to make sure my shipping is going to be close to covering what it's going to cost me to send it to California, but not too overly exaggerated to where if somebody on the East Coast wants to buy it, that they're feeling like I'm charging too much.
Yeah. Well,
that's just the way you got to do it, or you're not going to sell nothing.
Now, let me tell you this, Brandon.
I use calculated on everything.
Let me tell you this, Brandon, to make you feel better. Yeah, I also use calculated, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But I do calculated shipping. If I have, like, you know, I do try to refund shipping if it's an inordinate amount, because sometimes it's you know, eBay's calculator charges people way too much. And even though I do that and I pass on the shipping savings to my customer, you know, they get my price on it. Even with all that, I still got a 4.9 in that one category. Everything else is 5, and that's with, like, I literally am not making any money off of your shipping. What you paid is what I paid.
Well, what I've
where do you
figured
see
out,
that at? That rating you're talking about.
You know what? I'm not even sure. I know where I've looked at it several times. But yeah, the other thing the reason I do the calculated shipping is simply because we have offers on everything, and I don't have to consider where it's going to or anything when I send out an offer. I know that this is a price I'm happy to get and shipping's taken care of. But if I did a lot more similar things, like if I just did all hats, I'd do free shipping or a flat rate on shipping. But
what I
because we do
do
lots of
is
different things.
when I talked about ordering boxes, I have basically 3 types of boxes that I keep in stock. I have a couple other oddball size for like VCRs and stuff like that I have, and then my golf club boxes. But I have 3 main boxes, and that's 864s, 10812s, and 1210-8s. Because most everything that I sell will fit in one of those 3 size boxes. So then from there, I set my shipping price based on the approximate weight of the item. Like a hat isn't going to weigh much. It's about 7 ounces with the box. So, I know that what those are going to be no matter where they're going. Same thing with, if I sold this little guy, I could probably do this for about $8.99, just based off it's got a little weight to it and what size box it's going to go in. So that's how I do mine. In ordering those boxes and knowing what the sizes of my boxes are helps with knowing what I need to charge on my shipping to get it anywhere in the US. Now, like what I've learned is on like jeans or a hoodie or, clothing that has a little bit of weight to it, I charge usually $8.99, and that's because I can normally get it to fit in a priority bubble mailer, and those are $8 and some change or whatever. So I found that's a sweet spot on those, is just on the $8.99. That's covering my fees a little bit. And then when the buyer gets it, they know, okay, he didn't overcharge me on this, And I really think when there's people out there complaining about sales and stuff like that, I would almost bet if you were to dive deep into the eBay stores of those folks, many cases, that is one thing that holds their sales back, is their shipping.
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. That and promoted.
Now, Ping, I want to tell Ping something here. She's talking about that regional A box. If you have any regional A or B boxes left over, you can still use those. You can use them until they run out. But I don't think you get the regional A or regional B price. It's just be a priority mail box. You're still able to use the size box.
I ordered a bunch of those whenever I heard they were going away.
And, I still got a bunch of B's left. I've read out all the A's, but
then right after I got them is when they announced the ground advantage thing.
Well, we won't talk about ground advantage because ground advantage is a joke.
Oh, you don't like ground advantage, Leroy?
Nope. It's a joke.
Oh, I love it.
Pay attention to ground advantage because you could send it priority cheaper on most.
Yes, sometimes you can.
On local coastal stuff, and that surprises me on some things. But then again, I'll tell you something else, that we got a little bit of shipping competition going on, because my oversized items, I always ship those UPS.
Yes.
But lately, I've been noticing that FedEx is coming in way cheaper than UPS does. So I've actually been sending a lot of stuff FedEx because they're coming in a couple dollars cheaper than UPS.
Yep.
So,
well, the thing with FedEx is I don't use FedEx for the simple fact, anytime I order something that comes from FedEx, it's always an issue for me to get the package. So that's why I never use FedEx. It could just be my area with FedEx in my area. But I like you talking about oversized packages with UPS. I always ship all my oversized packages with UPS. Golf clubs go UPS used to all the time.
And speaking of FedEx, I don't use them to ship items, like unless it's a lot cheaper and oversized here with eBay. But like when I do the grading orders, I'm dealing with other people's stuff and valuables. I actually ship those out overnight with UPS because I don't crust FedEx with valuable items, if that makes any sense.
Right.
But if it's shipping out, you know, I don't know, a $50 item, but it's got a little size to it, you know, and it's got to go to Missouri or something like that, you know, okay, I'll drop it off at FedEx and let them have it. So
did you know that the FedEx employees or the FedEx drivers, they're self-employed contractors?
Yes.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. I watched.
I think Amazon, a lot of them are too now.
I watched these at there's this place where you can ship FedEx close to us, and I had parked in the parking lot. I was there to pick up something different, and I saw the FedEx truck drive up, and they're going in the side door and getting the packages. And I swear, this is what they would do. They're parked on the side of the building. Let me see if I get my special reasoning here. They're parked on the side of the building. They're coming out of that door, and from about 20 feet away, they're just throwing those boxes into the truck. And they had this like big, and there were two of them. That's why it didn't make sense. It's like they had this big old huge mountain of boxes just in the middle of the truck. And then if they had them all in the truck, went in and like was, you know, setting them in neatly. But it seemed like it'd be easier just to toss it to one guy in the truck. But
sometimes I feel like they use packages for step letters.
I've seen how UPS operates, so I worked there for a seasonal thing, and they're pretty good with their packages. Even, you know, nothing's foolproof, but
when you guys ship breakables, do you choose to use or not use fragile stickers?
No,
I don't use them.
I don't use fragile stickers at all.
Yeah, so
it's like a big red sign.
Yep. Well, you see it on that box right there. That box was a box shipped to me. But when I go to the post office, the lady, you know, my postal workers are always asking me, is there anything in here I need to mark fragile? And I always tell them, y'all know me. I pack my stuff good. If it doesn't make it for some reason, somebody had a really bad day because my item, I know how them guys, you know, how they are out there. And again, if they were deciding to play soccer or something like that, all right, it might not make it, but otherwise that package should make it, and it should make it safely. So I always tell them, nope, don't worry about it. If it doesn't make it, somebody had a really bad day.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, it's about that time. So Leroy, you got anything coming up you want to let everybody know about?
Yeah. When all you guys are hanging out with your family and you know, drinking eggnog and stuff, I'll be listening. So when you guys are broke on the 3rd and the 4th, I'll be making money.
Brandon?
I mean, I just hope everybody has a great holiday, whatever it is you celebrate, Christmas, Hanukkah, you know, whatever other ones are out there. I think, you know, Leroy mentions listing and everything, and he's right. The upcoming period, I think, could be a hot period for resellers, but I also think we worked all year pretty damn hard to be able to take a little bit of a break and enjoy the time with our family. And I spent enough money on gifts that I want to sit there and watch my kids and my wife open them. and hopefully I did good. So I'm going to try to enjoy that, but I think it would be fun to, you know, I have been enjoying hanging out with you guys and chatting it up and giving each other hell. And I think we all can be, everybody talks about accountability coaches or whatever. And I think it'd be good. Let's challenge each other for 2024 and see what we can push each other to get to. Because I think we all could kick some ass in 2024. So
are we all on next Thursday together?
That's the plan. I haven't scheduled a guest, so that's the plan.
Okay, well, if you guys are willing to do it, we can do it then, because we still have a couple more days at that point still to so we can talk about 2024, what we can do better.
Yeah, we can do that next Thursday would be a good one to talk about what our goals are for 2024. Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
a
I think it'd be
time.
good to push each other, help each other out, and see
Yes.
what we're
Yep.
capable of doing. So
Yeah, like getting a thermal printer.
yeah, Chris.
Yeah, like getting a thermal printer. Leroy, you know who you got to talk to about that.
We're going to start a GoFundMe for Chris and his thermal printer.
No. Brad, you got anything?
My earbuds went out about the time you asked the question, so I don't even know what the question was.
Oh,
He said, when are you going to buy him the thermal printer? He'll send you his address.
It's in the mail. It's in the mail.
All right. Now, is there anything you want to get an announcement to make or anything this upcoming week you got going on?
No, I just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and hope everybody, or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or whatever. But
right.
Just Merry Christmas to everybody, and enjoyed hanging out with you guys. And yeah, I like the idea. Let's just push each other and make each other better.
Hey, it's already going out the door. It's sold already.
You just listed that.
I know.
Was that the little attachment?
Yep.
Yeah.
I've never even seen one of those, man. So
me neither.
It's a thumb drive.
Yeah.
They're called thumb drives.
It's called a thumb drive. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice,
it's
boy.
It's called Gone. Yeah, that's a thumb drive too.
It's called Gone. For me, I don't think I got anything scheduled. I do know I'm probably going to do a pop-up show on District, one-stop shop, live auction. I got some vinyls I'm going to be doing a show on. I got some license plates I'm going to be doing a show on, and I got some 1996 Atlanta Olympic pins and some Barcelona Olympic pins I'm going to be doing a show on. Those are all going to be separate. Just haven't scheduled them out yet, so just keep an eye out for that on District and One Stop Shop. Also, I think I haven't decided. Next week will be a final decision on whether I continue to do the antique store through Whatnot. So keep an eye out on that. If I'll make an announcement if I don't. But other than that, guys, we will see y'all next Thursday. Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year, and y'all have a good one.